This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Break through the busiest time of year with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus. Powered by Peloton IQ. With real-time guidance and endless ways to move, you can personalize your workouts and train with confidence, helping you reach your goals in less time. Let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
From athletic stuff like a full-court pickup game, swish, to athletic-ish stuff like a half-mile stroll. Get those steps in. Head to Sierra or Sierra.com for the brands you want at the prices that let you do it all. From athletic to athletic-ish, Sierra's got it.
Where intellectual honesty gets witness protection from social prosecution. The Last Show with David Cooper.
Letting your cat roam free or keeping it indoors, it's one of those topics that turns otherwise normal people into very passionate animal philosophers. Freedom versus safety, nature versus nurture. But according to new research, maybe the answer is don't let your cat out at all, at least not until you hear what ecology and conservation scientist at Auburn University, Chris Lepchek, has to say. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, David. Great to be here.
My goodness, when you put out research on keeping cats indoors, you must get hate mail. You must get people that are very passionate.
Very much at times we do, and especially if it conflicts with their worldview.
Look, I get the argument if you live on a farm and you've got working cats who are kind of hired to mouse, and instead of paying them cash, you pay them cat food. I get it. But cities, are they a safe place for a cat to be out? Are we basically bad pet owners if we let our cats roam in environments where there's cars, where there's coyotes, where there's other cats that could beat it up, where there's raccoons that could give it diseases? Is this a good idea?
Yeah, I think just from a animal welfare perspective, there's a lot of risk of having a cat being outdoors in a city. It's far less we worry about some of the things that maybe we talked about in the past, like what they could do to birds or small mammals. But there's great risk between the possibility of being hit by a car, acquiring a disease, just even accidental things like falling off of a tree or a building. There's lots of reports of incidences that we don't really think are kind of what cats are doing day to day, but the animal welfare and vet med records really show that that cats are doing what cats do, and as a result, they run into a lot of risky behavior, and it's either severe trauma, which costs a lot of money, or it results in the loss of a cat. And even to give you an example, here in Auburn, we have a lot of coyotes, and many cats are just a loss to the coyotes that live in the city.
Poor kitties. Is there anything in your research digging into what cats do when they're let out, whether it's an urban environment, a suburban environment, even a rural environment, and you sort of thought, wow, I did not expect to see so much of that?
I think there's really great camera studies where people, both in the US and then in places like New Zealand and Australia, have put small cameras on cats and watched where they go. And
yeah. The ones where the cats get into fights with the other neighborhood cats and people think their cats are so friendly and they realize their cat is the neighborhood jerk. Those videos are very funny.
Yeah. And just sometimes they go further than we think, so they can travel a lot farther than just your yard or the next yard over. Some cats really don't move that far. We're finding this out about all animals now that we can really track where they are in the environment. They go places we did not really understand, because many animals don't spend their time out in the open saying, hey, come find us, right? They're trying to be sneaky, or they're going to go where it's shady, or their activity times are not when we're out looking. So, cats move pretty widely. They engage a lot of other animals in ways that we don't always think, including other cats. We found a lot of information, over the years now, with cats eating just a wide variety of different animals, or killing those animals, but not necessarily eating them, just from putting cameras on.
Cats are tiny murderers. They are loving, they are affectionate, they are man's best friend. Forget dogs, but they do like to murder rodents and birds and stuff. It's in their DNA. We always hear about cats as like these graceful little self-sufficient ninjas who can take care of themselves. Owning my beloved cat Tomato, he's a clumsy idiot. He's very loving, but he's not graceful. Are cats really that good at surviving outdoors? I've heard things like outdoor cats live less long. Like, are they the great survivalists that we think they are?
I mean, if we think about how they're distributed in the world, they are, because they've really been one of the most widespread animals that people have moved around on the planet, and they exist in many locations that we would not think very feasible. That doesn't mean they're living well, but they are surviving. And so you can go to pretty remote places on the planet and find that a cat can survive. They just need animal protein. They don't have to, they can go a long time without water. They don't need people around. You may not have a large population of cats, but they can certainly persist a lot longer than I think most of people think ordinarily they would.
Roads are hard environments for us to navigate. We get into car accidents all the time. What are the stats like for kitties? Like, do they understand cars as fundamentally as some owners think they do? Or are there real risks with cars and cats that I think a lot of owners think won't happen?
Yeah, there's pretty large risks. I mean, I think as we noted in the paper that just came out, cats are moving across roads 3, 4, 5 times a day. And those are cats that we've tracked and watched, but I think we could back that up with a lot of other studies now. There was a really good paper that came out last month looking at just roadkill around the world, and the amount of animals, not just cats, that are hit by cars regularly is very high. So road mortality is, animals don't perceive vehicles the way humans do. And it's it's something we've known about for a long time, but I think we didn't really have this understanding until a few of the studies, how many cats are crossing roads on a regular basis. But yeah, it's a great source of mortality.
Let's talk the great debate. I was interviewing a veterinarian on the show the other day, and we talked about a paper that looked at the cultural context of veterinarianism, but like one thing around the world that's different. Like, for example, in Japan and most places, it's considered good for the cat's health to keep it inside. And in some parts of the UK, culturally, it's considered quite cruel to keep a cat indoors. Are we projecting like human ideas on these animals, human ideas of freedom? Like, is it okay to keep a cat inside? There might be someone listening who just deeply believes it's cruel to keep your cat locked in.
Yeah, I mean, certainly culture is a big component of how we think about not just cats, but animals and what they're doing in their lives. And animal behavior is an area that it's difficult to separate our views and anthropomorphize the aspects that we think are human aspects when that's not maybe at all what an animal is doing. The view of welfare and what is great for an animal differs a lot around the world, but I would say that animals like cats can live wonderful lives indoors, and a lot of it's how engaged you as the owner wants to be with that animal. And so, you can enrich your home environment, putting up things like cat trees, playing with toys with them, providing opportunities to interact with you and having places to hide. But there's ways to give them some outdoor experience that mimics things that they would have an opportunity to do. So a really popular approach now is using catios. So attaching essentially, like a screen porch or a screened area to your house. There are people that walk cats on a leash just like they do with a dog. You can get a cat backpack. So my daughter has a cat backpack.
Yeah, those are funny.
Right, just like Taylor Swift. You can walk around with a cat on your back. And so the idea of there's no way to have them have outdoor exposure. I mean, that's not really something that's true. They can have outdoor exposure in those kinds of controlled methods. I think any animal, when you release it fully outdoors, I mean, even if you're walking a dog, you expose it to certain risks that you can't fully control. And just like us, there are diseases in the environment. There's weather, environmental factors. So you're always going to have a small amount of kind of factors that play in, but I would say that a cat can live a wonderful life indoors, and it's how much you want to engage in.
To an owner that says, my cat would lose its mind if it was kept indoors, or to an owner that says, it's a wild animal, it's a tiny predator, it longs to be free, would you say something like, hey, these cats actually evolved alongside us for tens of thousands of years, and they're kind of evolved to be inside, they're evolved to not be so separate from humans?
Yeah, and I think the other thing is if it's not something you can do with the cat you own now, what about the next cat? So we have to think about lots of changes taking time. And many people do have cats that they have rescued or it would be difficult to have as indoor pets, but that doesn't mean that has to be in perpetuity. The next time you get a cat, could you have an indoor cat? Probably.
Well, I'm here with Chris Lepchek, an ecology and conservation scientist at Auburn University. Chris, I've enjoyed the chat. I hope we haven't inflamed the tension of this great debate and just got some of the info out there.
Thanks so much, David. I hope so too.
President Barack Obama.
Virginia, we are counting on you. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. But you can stop them by voting yes by April 21st. Help put our elections back on a level playing field and let voters decide, not politicians. Vote yes by April 21st.
Paid for by Virginians for Fair Elections.